starting now. Ready? All right. Now, first of all, the Georgia Republican Party will be meeting in Savannah. And I'm going to say these are just a little jokes, so don't get all worked up. I tend to vote Republican, and people say, why do you vote Republican? I tend to say Republicans told me a better lie, okay? That's a joke, but for the most part, a lot of these Republican candidates just tell a better lie and try to get me to believe that the taxes will be cut, spending will be cut, things will be, will be conservative because, Republicans obviously send those push cards in your mail during the political season that just really talk about how conservative. I mean, they're the true conservatives. So we know all that, all right? But I say that jokingly. And two, I've been asked several times, somebody asked me yesterday and several times in the last week, if I would be attending the Georgia Republican Convention in Savannah. No, it's not. We don't see it as news, but at the same time, driving to Savannah, again, it's kind of scary being in a room with that many Republicans at one time. Just a joke. Relax, damn it. And so, no, I will hear Monday morning who is the new chair. I mean, us being there has no bearing on who is going to be the new chair of the Republican Party in Georgia, who's going to be the first vice chair, second vice chair, all the above, first chair flute, first chair clarinet, whatever, all right? Us being there is not going to change that. They're going to put some, they always put, just like the platform. They do work on the platform just like your national platform. Georgia and in your state, the Republican Party works on the platform. And this year, there's an attempt to get a resolution on the platform or voted on to remove Georgia House Speaker David Ralston from being Speaker of the House. So that's where I want to go. Now, this will probably cause me some heartburn. But I have watched the attempt here since midway through the 2019 session for David Clark, Representative David Clark, and several other, I think it's a total of 9 members of the House of Representatives in the state of Georgia, put the push on and submit a bill, I guess you would call it, asking for co-sponsored 9 of them, David Clark, asking for Georgia House Speaker David Ralston's resignation. So when that happened in the middle of the session, I was kind of wondering why. Now, they cite his abuse of legislative leave, okay? They cite his abuse of legislative leave. And they cite that the victims did not receive their day in court. And we have allegedly, not going into there, child molesters. We have rape victims allegedly. We've got so many things where House Speaker David Ralston has allegedly used his position for financial gain, that clients would come in and say, hey, I got a little problem, got arrested last night. This is just paraphrasing, but this is not, I don't know this, okay, but this is what's being alleged. Hey, I got in a little trouble last night. What's it cost for me not to go to court? So what they want to lead you to believe is that the Speaker of the House, David Ralston, and put David's picture up there, number 6. The Speaker of the House, David Ralston, has used his office for monetary gain and abused the legislative leave laws in Georgia to not go to court. And the victims have been years trying to get justice. That's it in a nutshell, okay? So I'm wondering, right, I'm wondering where are the 8? Now, like the guy or not, and we're not going there, it's a different subject. Matthew Gertler, he is the representative of the 8th District. There's not a lot of love between, my opinion, David Ralston and Matt Gertler. Just not a lot. But at least representative from the 8th District, Matt, voted no against Ralston being Speaker of the House at the beginning of the session. Now, really all I'm doing is not denying what you're calling the facts. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm just saying I wish everybody would think just for a little bit. So at least he voted no against David Ralston being the Speaker of the House. The other 8, if I'm correct, it's 9. The other 8 obviously voted for him for Speaker of the House. Let's just say session's 40 days, and 20 days prior to them going after him for him to be removed. See, in that gap of them not having David Clark and the other 8, in that gap of them not having the nerve to vote against him as Speaker of the House, because if you listen to David Clark and you'll listen to their, they've got to vote their conscience. They got to be the conscience of the party. They just got to do the right thing. You will hear all this moral high ground by this representative and others for their reason why he must go. Now you stop and think. There's a gap of about 20 days that David Clark and the other 8 vote for him as Speaker of the House. And it's not until 20 days later that allegedly David Clark learned of this massive abuse. Why he watched this story on TV. Why he started hearing how victims were not getting their... I mean, stop and think, folks. I would like for all of the people that are rushing to this judgment and grabbing onto the facts and just going, oh my God, look at what's been uncovered. Think of the people politically that in a 20-day span found out he's no good. In a 20-day span, everything changed. On this day, when they pulled the lever, they were okay with moving forward with him as Speaker of the House. 20 days later, why, my God, we have found out something so earth-shattering that we can't even get through the session. We need to cut right here in the middle of the session and tell him to get the hell out. Okay, fine, but just think that out. What caused? What got the Atlanta media stirred up at a certain time? You see, the story the Atlanta media has run over and over about these victims, which we're not saying they're not victims, okay? But these cases, they had pre-Ralston being voted Speaker. They had that then. Why did they use it at a certain time? Why did some representatives follow that lead on these Atlanta stories and find it to be the time? Why did these representatives, where was Greg Bluestein chasing David Clark? Where were these other media the Atlanta media chasing David Clark? Where were these people saying, why did you vote for him knowing this? Think all of that out, folks. Just how did this happen? Now, I'm okay. I'm not going to go into great deal on the victims because I'm going to say this, and I'm going to look in the camera and say this. I know the Amanda Mosier case. I know it better than I want to. And I say that personally because I was not CEO of FetcherNews.com. Fetcher News did not exist on that day that tragically her husband and baby were killed up here on 515. But I did have another business that as we heard the crash outside, we went to look, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, so they want Ralston removed. Now, in Georgia, this is going to cause me a lot of heartburn. My ass is going to be in trouble when I get done with this, all right? But I just keep seeing the posting, and I just want everybody to look this all the way through. And if you're all right when you're done and you reach a conclusion, fine. But the power in, okay, the power in the Georgia, under the Georgia Gold Dome has been for a long time, the bigger power has been under the House of Representatives. One, why? Because the House of Representatives is just that. It acts almost in the same way as the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. It is in charge of appropriating money. Now, the Senate has to approve the budget, but all the appropriations on the budget, are done, and when I say all, but let's not get down confused, but the appropriations is done through the House. A lot of power. Speaker of the House, a lot of power there. Now, forget David Ralston, just Speaker of the House, House of Representatives holds a lot of power. Now, Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle, I don't know the relationship with House Speaker David Ralston, okay, but there was, and not to go down a rabbit trail, there was some power conflict between the Georgia State Senate and the House. The Senate has always wanted more power over on that side, or be respected for more power, okay? So, if you go to the Georgia House of Representatives, and you look at this guy right here, let's go with number 2. All right. This is your Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan. All right. Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan. He's from Cumming. All right. Lives over in Cumming. There's another guy I think lives in Cumming. I think there's 2 or 3 guys that live in Cumming or somewhere around that area, but there's at least 2 guys that live in Cumming that may know each other. Anyhow, we'll get to that in a minute. So your Lieutenant Governor of the Georgia House of Representatives, Geoff Duncan, lives in Cumming. Guess what? He was your representative in District 26 in the House for 5 years. Okay? He was a member, he was on the Committee of Banks and Banking, Information and Audits, Interstate Cooperation, and Science and Technology, Ways and Means. He was a member. He was sworn in January 14th, 2013, and he was a representative in the House. Well, let's look at it like this. He spent 5 years, right, in the Georgia House of Representatives from the District 26. He wore one of the little green pine trees on his lapel. Look up when you get time. If you can, I'll get it for you later. But there was a group that wore a little green pine tree on their lapel. I think David Clark wore one. I don't know. Matthew Gertler. I think the eight representatives that signed the bill or whatever, that filed it asking for House Speaker David Ralston's resignation. You might think of so. I think they all wore a little green pine tree on their lapel. And while in the House of Representatives, he was a member of that group. He had his little green pine tree, right? Now, nothing wrong with it. We'll get into that, but just pay attention. There's a group, okay? He belonged to that group, all right? So he came from the House of Representatives. Who was and is still the Speaker of the House for the 5 years he was there? Speaker David Ralston, right? Just saying. Start putting this together, folks. Because every time I hear the victims in this great investigation, I'm not denying you could go get paperwork printed out. And I'm not denying it's black and white. But think of the timeline when this happened. Think who the beneficiary is. See, what they want to lead you to believe is that there's a hero that swooped in. That somebody got out of the shower one morning and said, honey, I can't go to work today. Get my cape. And I must put it on. Because I must swoop in and save Georgia from David Ralston immediately for the victims that have not received justice. There should be this guy standing up there with his cape flying in the air trying to save Georgia. Who are the benefactors of this? Who will benefit? Who's trying to make a power move? That's my question. Right? So the lieutenant governor then is a representative. So he runs for lieutenant governor, right? Runs for lieutenant governor, and he wins. Made a move over to the Senate. Wonder if he could control both chambers from the Senate side, or have friends in one chamber while he controls another. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot to think about here. We're going to unpack every bit of it this morning. I know you're looking for other stuff, but as the Republicans head to Savannah, let's unpack some things. Hell, I'm going to be in trouble. This is getting deep. I'll have heartburn all day. But don't go away. We're going to stay right this. We're going to move this guy right here from the House of Representatives wearing his little green pine tree on his lapel with his friends over to the Senate. We got a lot more to discuss. Take us to break, Josh.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
It's always Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means maximum discounts no other dealer can touch, like over $11,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save over $5,500 off new Chevy Colorado. Nobody's got a selection like this, or bigger discounts than Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's Truck Month every hour, every day, every month, and where Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Welcome to Mountain Valley Motors. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat vehicles available, plus a wide selection of quality used vehicles. Located at 7535 Appalachian Highway in Blue Ridge, we treat the needs of each individual customer with paramount concern. We know that you have high expectations, and as a car dealer, we enjoy the challenge of meeting and exceeding those standards each and every time. Allow us to demonstrate our commitment to excellence. Our experienced sales staff is eager to share its knowledge and enthusiasm with you. We encourage you to browse our online inventory, schedule a test drive, and investigate financing options. Visit us online or call us at 706-516-1053.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Okay, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Show the folks how they can contact the show. Send me an email. Follow us on social media. Now, if you're just joining the show, I understand all of the national things going on and all of the things you think I could get to, but the Georgia GOP Republican Party state convention is this weekend in Savannah, Georgia. Tomorrow, I may not have the opportunity to do this segment before the convention, and I just want to get it done. So, what I'm telling you is you make your own decision. I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other. If you feel that Georgia House Speaker David Ralston should no longer be Speaker of the House in Georgia, hey, that's fine. I get it, okay? All I'm looking for is the power, and you got to watch the front segment. I can't go back. And why, about 20 days into the session, the certain representatives found it the opportune time to follow the liberal Atlanta media and all of a sudden say, wow, this guy is so despicable, he shouldn't serve another day up there behind the podium. And that's number 6, give us House Speaker David Ralston. And he needs to go now. And so now we have David Clark does this press conference. And then now, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but if you listen to all the interviews, and I did spend 3 hours, I spent 3 hours one-on-one with this individual, 2 on the camera and 1 off. And let's go with number 5. This is a former FBI, he calls himself a former Marine, not me, Derek Somerville. So Derek now is sitting at home, and he had a hard day's work, and he's been out there consulting and running a business. Interesting. Another thing there. And he gets home from work, and he's sitting down, and he turns on the news, and and he's all of a sudden they're running a story about Ralston. And he says, oh my God, we can't let this happen. Why, there's a guy I met on the campaign trail. What is that guy's name again? What is his name? David Clark. I know him a little bit. I was out there trying to help Brian Kemp become governor. I can't take this story. Why, we must step in and do something. Honey, get my cape. I must super Derek to the rescue. I gotta go. So, this is the next piece of this puzzle. I think he lives in Cumming. I think he does. I think. Now let's go back to number 2, the Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Geoff Duncan. I'm pretty sure Geoff Duncan lives in Cumming. Just saying. So he's a lieutenant governor. So fast forward, he spends 5 years in the House of Representatives. He's with a group with the what I call Green Pine Tree Lapel Pin Group. Matthew Gertler. Now, we're not getting negative on these people. We're just David Clark. I think all 9 that signed that, co-sponsored that legislation they put in asking for Ralston to be removed, I think all of them wear the green pine tree lapel pin along with Geoff Duncan when he was in the House of Representatives. So we've talked about just generally the power is under, in the Gold Dome, is really on the House of Representatives side based on appropriations and money. So he says, my words, I want to be lieutenant governor. That presides over the Senate. So he runs against this guy for lieutenant governor. Senator David Schaefer, number 4. State Senator David Schaefer. So State Senator David Schaefer runs against Geoff Duncan for lieutenant governor. Well, there's several other candidates in the race, so it ends up in a runoff. And just from memory, this guy here comes away with about 49%, 48.9 or 49.2. I mean, he almost wins outright. And then the runoff takes place. So here, David Schaefer, state senator, former GOP chair, is in a runoff against who else but Geoff Duncan, now Lieutenant Governor number 2. So during the runoff, a sexual, inappropriate, an inappropriate sexual conduct or contact was reported against Schaefer, which turned out to be nothing. Okay, but that's interesting. It turned out to be nothing. And then this guy here, and I got to put a question mark up because he's probably going to run and find all of his attorneys immediately. But this guy here, all of a sudden, his campaign and a outside group find all kinds of money. I mean, they are pounding this guy. To me, I'll look in the camera. He ran one of the nastiest. Don't ever let him tell you he's a Republican. He is a Ronald Reagan Republican. Thou shalt not speak ill of my fellow Republican. He ran what I consider the nastiest campaign. My words, I felt his campaign was very unethical. I felt it was packed full. I felt it was packed full of lies, and he went as low as he could go after David Schaefer, David Schaefer there, which is number 4. Okay? Now stay with this puzzle, right? So Duncan wins after this nasty, ugly, lying, unethical, my opinion, campaign. Duncan wins and he beats David Schaefer. Okay. He becomes lieutenant governor. Now, as lieutenant governor, he presides over the Georgia State Senate. A lot of power. A lot of power there. Get the helicopter. I know he campaigned against the helicopter, but I understand he uses the helicopter. He gets all the benefits, okay, of being lieutenant governor, and he presided over the Senate, okay? Now, I understand from sources, I'll put it like that, sources, I understand from outside looking in, that the lieutenant governor wanted to pull, if you go down to the Capitol, literally the House chamber is here, the Senate chamber is here, and he wanted to reach over there and pull power out of that House of Representatives side of the Gold Dome and pull it over to the Senate. Wanted to assert himself. I'm lieutenant governor. I'm second in line behind the governor. I hold the power. That's my opinion. Got to keep saying that so when the lawyers call, all right? That's what I think. Now, what if he, big what if he could get a Speaker of the House that knows once they get in the well that they are there because the power broker on the other side put them there? Maybe, right? What if? What if he could be lieutenant governor, be the guy behind the scenes, everybody's whispering, right? Everybody's whispering. Be the guy that maybe drives the remove Ralston wagon, maybe, right? And the next thing you know, Ralston's gone, and one of these other is in the well, and they know firsthand that Duncan now holds a massive amount of power in 2 chambers as lieutenant governor. Just say it. Just say it. Nobody's looking at this all the way through. Just say it. When I get done, you look at it, see what you think. Now, this guy here, okay, number 3. This is Scott Johnson. Nice enough guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I'm not going to say an ugly word about him. Scott Johnson happens to be one of 3 candidates for the Georgia GOP chair position in Savannah this weekend. He would like to leave Savannah as the chairman of the Republican Party. He would like to leave Savannah for Georgia. He would like to leave Savannah this weekend as the chairman of the Republican Party and lead you to believe that he is the best option you have in holding the Republican stronghold in the Georgia House of Representatives, Republican stronghold in the Georgia Senate, maintain the congressional district 6 and 7, turn 6 back red, certainly not with Karen Handel, and Woodall is at Woodall's seat in the 7th, make sure that stays red in the House of Representatives, and then make sure that Donald Trump is elected in Georgia. So he wants to leave Scott Johnson, Savannah, nice enough guy, leading you to believe he's the guy that can make that happen. All right? Now, go to number 4. David Schaefer, who was beat by Geoff Duncan, Lieutenant Governor, he would like to leave Savannah the same way. Now, David, my understanding, I have no notes. If you can see, I just have pictures. I have no notes, okay? David, my understanding, was the chairman of the Republican Party in Georgia back in the old Newt Gingrich days. Yes. David was the chair of the party when the majority in Georgia was held by Democrats. David did a lot of, I'm hearing this outside. I did not live in Georgia at that time. I've been here 19 years. So David, somewhere around that, okay? David Schaefer is part of and a big reason why the state of Georgia turned red and won majorities in the Georgia House and Senate under his leadership in the as the Georgia Republican Party chair. That's not an endorsement, it's just what I understand. Now, David has chose to run for GOP chair again, and he will be in Savannah. And he hopes to come out, okay? He hopes to come out of Savannah as the chairman and lead you to believe that he is the one that could keep the Georgia Senate red and the Georgia Senate red and the House of Representatives red and District 6 and District 7 and Trump win Georgia. There you go. Now there is a third candidate, no disrespect, not really in the story. So there's David Schaefer. Now, this, number 1, has been going around Facebook. Okay? 2 politicians, same bad idea. Elizabeth Warren, David Schaefer. And there has been a major sponsor where money was spent, dark money, okay? I have been told where the suspect money is coming from, but I cannot quote that, okay? And it says, stop Schaefer. If you're on social media, I was on there this morning, boom, stop Schaefer. And they're trying to sell you that David Schaefer has policies like Elizabeth Warren. 2 politicians, same bad idea, okay? Now, interesting enough, what we understand is it's possible, damn, I know those attorneys are listening, it's possible that the same dark money that backed the despicable Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan's campaign may be the same exact money that backed this on social media attacking David Schaefer for this coming weekend in Savannah. May be the same money. In fact, I could not find it, but if you go back and look at this ad and look at something that a political action committee or whatever put out against David Schaefer for Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan, it might look the same, might look like the same artwork, same person put it together look like it. So we're led to believe that possibly the same exact money that supported Duncan has also gone after David Schaefer as GOP chair with this campaign to help who? Number 3, Scott Johnson. So what if Scott Johnson, nice enough guy, Lieutenant Governor, what if they've both been helped by the same dark money in this effort? So one when I say one more thing, obviously I might have two. So now wait a minute. Who wrote a major endorsement for Scott Johnson the other day? Number 2. Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan. Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan went on social media, went on his website, I think on his website or whatever, sent it to the press, sent it to the GOP, whoever, right? It's public. And he wrote a major endorsement for Scott Johnson for this weekend for Republican GOP chair. Now, wonder what power he's trying to pull there. That's a question mark, is he trying to get rid of this guy, number 6, to pull power from the House from David? Is he trying to get rid of David Ralston to pull power from the House so that he, number 2, could have a power, insert his power in the House of Representatives in Georgia, preside over the Senate, hold that power, get number 3 elected, Scott Johnson, and hold state GOP power. Because remember, you go to Wisconsin and you see Paul Ryan as Speaker of the House. You go to these states and you see these politicians that go to the next level. Their first and closest ally is usually the state chair of the party. So is Duncan trying to get this guy elected so he can insert power over the state Republican Party, the lieutenant governor to Senate, and then hold the House of Representatives, whoever's in the well, and say, I got power there too. Interesting. I just think it's interesting. Now, let's go one more time. Number 2, this is just a coincidence. Because if you start putting these people together, there's so many damn coincidences. Or what did one of my kids used to call it a coinkadink, all right? This is a real coinkadink here. One of my kids couldn't say, coincidence, so they'd say it's a real coinkadink. All right, so here's a real coinkadink, okay? This guy lives in Cummings. Number 5, Derek Somerville. He lives in Cummings. Now, he is out there. He is pulling money out of his pocket. He is spending thousands of dollars. He is speaking everywhere, attending every Republican Party meeting he can attend, okay? Everything he could, all right? He has gone to the courthouses. He has interviewed. He did a press conference in Atlanta. They never talk about the interview I did with him. Okay, he has pulled all these documents. He has found where allegedly Ralston's lied about this and done this and done this. Okay, he has gone after judges. When I say gone after, if you read what he's written, he says, oh, well, they may be the nicest people in the world, but he has exposed judges that were one time worked in Speaker Ralston's office. He has not actually looked, or nobody has looked at all of former Governor Nathan Deal's judicial appointments. Nobody. But he found 2 that, hey, they got ties to Ralston. All right? And he's just a citizen. that just wants the right thing for these victims. Just wants the right thing. And he's headed down to Savannah this weekend too. And I wonder, did he try to run for Congress? Was he thinking, Derek Somerville, was he thinking about running for Congress at one time? Was he talked out of running for Congress? What's he want? I know everywhere he goes, and you have all these groups saying, the hero will be putting his cape on and flying in tonight. I mean, Super Derek to the rescue. He's coming in. And my God, the research he's done. And I tell you, it's amazing. And he's just a citizen that did it out of his own pocket. Just the heart for victims that were denied justice. Maybe so. Watch all of this unfold. Every bit of it. See what happens. I may be so far out there, way out there, or I may be right on target. So let's watch and see what his aspirations are. Let's just see. Let's just see where everybody ends up. Hey, I get it. You want rid of Ralston? Sure. But stop saying you want rid of Ralston because your heart is bleeding for a victim. And for the victims out there, I'm glad that this right here is getting you the exposure you deserve. I'm glad of that. I'm glad the cases are supposed to be getting cleaned up, and hopefully this will change for you, and we may get a chance to change the entire court system in Georgia, because it's just not Speaker Ralston that has cases that are 6 to 10 years old, if not older. So I'm your host, BKP. Savannah, watch. Could this guy here, number 2, continue his push to become the biggest power broker in Georgia? Just saying. Just saying. Am I the only one asking any questions? Because it just doesn't look right to me. I'm your host, BKP. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.